Hey Super Swim Team, my name is Swim Team Captain 7, and they said dress for the job you want, not the job you have. But it turns out my cape is a safety hazard, so forklift operator wasn't for me either. But luckily I've still got all of this useless trivia and speculation jumbling around up in this brain, just waiting to be turned into videos. So without further ado, let's just get into it. With the ashification of half the universe at the end of Infinity War, and two conflicting ideas of where exactly we are on the timeline.
What was the time gap between the events of Avengers and Spider-Man Homecoming?
Oh, it was 8 years, I believe.
And it was quite controversial after you heard that.
Very incorrect 8 years.
What exactly is going on with the continuity right now? How exactly is Infinity War's ending affecting the TV shows? The TV shows seemingly are starting to become sort of unsynced, in my opinion. Are Claire, Method Man, Skye, and Coulson dead like Spidey and Black Panther? Will the shows acknowledge Infinity War at all? Or will they just choose to keep things vague? It seems like Jessica Jones' second season might be the only one set after Civil War, but it could be set before it, because that's all based off of the references to the raft, and we're not sure when it was built or when people started knowing about it. I think a lot, but not all of Infinity War Part 1 will actually be undone. I think Loki and Heimdall, maybe Gamora will stay dead, but the other half will come back, and no one will be sure exactly what happened. I think that means Avengers 4 will take place, at least partially, in an alternate timeline. Warning: potential spoilers for Avengers 4 follow. Leaked set photos show Tony Stark in a SHIELD uniform. Is it possible he could be following the steps of his father? Among these leaked set photos, we've seen that some select cast members appear to have some kind of device on their hands, as well as the fact that in those leaked pics, Cap is beardless and wearing his Avengers 1 outfit. Could they have traveled back in time to the Battle of New York? Plus, Ant-Man was never around during that battle anyway, so how could it not be time travel? A lot of things could happen in an alternate timeline, and it gives a lot of potential for character deaths that are potentially reversible, and character appearances and team-ups that can be recast or redone later on down the road if the timeline is reset to before everyone got ashed. One of these examples is Ant-Man's daughter, Cassie Lang. Cassie was portrayed by 10-year-old actress Abby Ryder Forston in both Ant-Man films. However, a 17-year-old named Emma Furman has been cast as Cassie Lang in Avengers 4, meaning some sort of time skip must occur for Cassie to jump so drastically in age. Is it possible that we could be seeing Stature make her way onto the silver screen next summer? Or a Young Avengers movie soon after? If so, personally, I'd love to see Wiccan. Another big question revolves around the TV shows again. Like I said, so far the only show to acknowledge Thanos has been Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we won't see any more of it until summer 2019, way after Avengers 4 releases. Of course, if Avengers 4 is in an alternate timeline, it could mean the television shows never really have or need to acknowledge the snap anyway. But getting back to that alternate timeline, with Black Panther gone, who's gonna lead Wakanda? I feel like this was foreshadowed in Black Panther.
Is there any member of a royal blood who wishes to challenge for the throne?
This corset is really uncomfortable. So could we all just wrap it up and go home? Hey, Shmata!
And if we look at concept art for the first Black Panther and the character's comic book history, we can even see that at one point, throwing Shuri into Panther armor was taken into consideration for the film. This wouldn't be unprecedented, as in the comics, Shuri once took the throne and became Queen Black Panther of Wakanda herself, back in Black Panther Volume 5. In fact, when it happened, T'Challa had more freedom as a Wakandan ambassador to the outside world. However, Shuri gaining her new powers from the herb made T'Challa lose his. So after working with a Wakandan sorcerer, he made a deal with another Panther entity to become King of the Dead. now imbued with the power to control the undead and conjure spirits into the world of the living for questioning. I wonder if this aspect of the Black Panther mythos could make its way on screen to the films. Personally, I'd love to see T'Challa become King of the Dead. Speaking of legacies, could we be seeing Wong take over as Sorcerer Supreme? A lot of people were quick to snap on my boy Wong for ditching the movie after the first time Thanos showed up, but way back in Doctor Strange, the audience is informed that there must always be at least one sorcerer at the Sanctum Sanctorum to keep it safe from extra-dimensional threats. And speaking of missing characters, does anyone think that we could see Valkyrie, Korg, and a few Asgardians make their way to Earth in an escape pod? In fact, the potential of seeing Valkyrie and Korg in Infinity War Part 2 might be one of the things I'm most excited for, assuming that it actually comes and they haven't just become dust in the wind as well. Personally, I'd like to see if they could team up with the Ravagers or with Starhawk's new team from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2's end credits, and maybe make their way to Earth that way. Maybe with Strange gone, even Krugar could become the new Sorcerer Supreme. But going back to that escape pod, I think it should have one more passenger that no one would see coming. And I mean honestly, do we really believe Loki's dead? It would not be the first time Loki pulled a fast one on the audience. And in fact, it'd actually be the third. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, Loki. One popular fan theory speculates that Loki transformed himself into Banner to avoid execution, creating a distractionary illusion to escape death. And the real Hulk managed to sneak off with Valkyrie and Korg in an escape pod while off screen, thus explaining why Banner can't Hulk out on Earth anymore. And like I said before, it wouldn't be the first or even the second time we've seen Loki die. I don't think this will stick. But if it does turn out to be true and Loki is really dead, I'd still like to see him revived and recast. Maybe he could be reincarnated as the female Loki, or the kid Loki, or even teen Loki from Agent of Asgard. If Hiddleston is done with the role, I don't think it's time to retire the character just yet. Loki has such a rich comic book history, and there's still so much more to explore with him. Now, I think the Vision coming back is totally inevitable, and when you see his white costume from the comics compared to how he looks when he's dead, I think it's pretty obvious. Though I doubt Vision will come back exactly the same. If he returns, we can bet that there will be repercussions for it, or he ultimately will not be the same Vision. I think Marvel could potentially go ham on racking up bodies and getting really weird with it in the second or even the first half of the film. That is, of course, if it is really an alternate timeline. And we all know Pete and T'Challa aren't permadead. It'd be silly to fool ourselves into thinking that. But if things just reset to before the snap, after the resolution, the entirety of Avengers 4 and a lot of Avengers 3 would just be reversed by the end of it. But where would that leave characters like Loki, Gamora, or Heimdall? What if things were reversed all the way back to Thor's ship instead of the snap? How could this play out? Like, at what point would the alternate timeline start and the new timeline begin? Like, when do things get reset? Like, how far in the future could it take place? I really have no idea. If they go full stature with it, then I would assume the film would take at least 3-4 years in the future, maybe, right? Maybe not. Tony Stark looks a little bit older in it, to be completely honest. But this is just my speculation. If you really want to know, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. I'd like to thank everyone for the support. I'm having a great time making these videos, and it's been really fun. If you'd like to see more videos like this, hit that like button and subscribe. Ring the notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on the latest Swim Team videos. Swim Squad, I want to see you squad up in the notifications down below, and let me know what you'd really like to see out of Avengers 4. And let me know what you did or didn't like about Infinity War. If you really want to double down on the support for what we do here, then check us out on other social media. We've got links to Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook down in the description below. Thanks very much, YouTube. I'll see you again very soon.